Hey. We are back. We are undefeated through the bye. Vibes are high. This is easy. Even though we've got injuries, it's so easy to select a team when you're just kicking ass and taking names. And the man who is the most positive man in the Carlton community, the wonderful Ian. How are you doing from the navy blue corner? How are you, my friend?
Oh, good as always, Pommy. Even better when we're winning. And yeah, very keen for this episode. I said last week it'd be exciting because we've got so many injuries. So that who knows what we're going to do. And again, there's more injuries, but hopefully this week, some more players coming back. So yeah, absolutely keen to get stuck into this one.
Mate, no injuries, no dramas, I say. Carlton could probably win with us three lining up forward. And my first pick, if I was going to have an on-baller with me in the guts, would be Mr. Lekdog, the man who also guests on Navy Blue Corner now as well. That was the biggest Carlton interview this week, trumping the Judds, I've heard. Mr. Lekdog, how are you?
Judd who? I've always said that, and I always will. Mate, I'm fantastic. It was good to be on the Navy Blue Corner. Also on my podcast, had a great chat with Tim Mitchell, who works for Supercoach. It was a great week. Blues had a big win. I think in our predictions on Thursday, Pom, I had George Hewitt best on as one of my headlines, and I think he was pretty close. So it was a big week for the George Hewitt fans, I'll tell you that much.
You say close. You do know Charlie Curnow kicked 10.
That's what. Well, close. It's close. They don't give votes to the forwards.
I suppose you are right, Lekdog. That would be like me saying to the Uber, "I'm just next door to the moon."
I got to admit, I did forget Charlie kicked 10 when I just said that.
Well, I didn't. Well, we've got a new addition. Lockie Jack in chat will be stoked that we have a very special surprise for you just before we select our teams. We have got some apologies to make. Evidently, Terry now, he's interviewing early stars. He's far too important on Wednesday afternoon to be with us, but he is a late replacement for the rest. So if you want to hear about Essendon, go and see them. And Paolo is still on his sabbatical, but he is scheduled to return next week. So I've heard, my sources tell me. So we'll get straight into this shindig. And Ian, let's pick on you first this week. You never go first. Talk me through your team and chat. Get your questions ready for Mr. Ian.
Yeah, so plenty of ins, plenty of outs this week. I'll try and go through them and explain it all in typical Ian fashion, in real estate agent fashion. Look, Chera comes in. It's an easy one. I think with Walsh out, he's the obvious replacement. Chera's under an injury cloud like most of the guys who are coming in, to be honest. But as I said, like for Walshy and being able to actually move and not just be an inside midfielder. I think he plays fit. If fit or not, regardless, he comes in. Easy one there. Cripper, like Chera, comes in if fit. Ed is my one, I must say, that makes way. Basically because Martin and Owies have come in. So I don't feel like we need any other half forwards. And with Cripps and Chera coming in, we don't need a midfielder. Sorry, Ed, surplus to requirements. With that midfield, Dow is someone that does miss out. He does become the sub in this team, which is maybe a little bit stiff, but I feel like I've got enough mids here to kind of rotate. You've got Cripps, you've got Chera, you've got Hewitt. Doherty, I want being more of a full-time mid in there. You got Cunningham and Fogarty that can rotate. And yeah, for me, that just doesn't kind of work. I'm not sure where Dow can kind of fit into that. If I'm honest, like he's a bit more of that inside mid. And I just feel like the rest of that mix really complements well. So Dow, very stiff to miss. And like I said with Doc, I've kind of got him on my bench there, mainly to show he's a bit more of a mid-rotation for me rather than being on the wing. You got Holland, you got Cottrell that can go through there. At times, I think Doc can play wing, can play halfback, but he's mainly going to be in my midfield. With the Jack Silvani injury, we need a ruckman. We need someone who can play in the forward line. So I've had to bring in basically Pitt, which is a little upsetting because I was liking De Koning and what he was able to do in the ruck so far, but he's kind of our next best forward, so he gets pushed to be that second tall down there, and Pitt comes in to be the ruck. Makes a lot of sense to me because the other options was Lemmy forward or Young forward, which I don't like. What's this one from Chills? Sorry.
When you wear your purple hoodie, do you take on the personality of the Grimace? Jokes aside, I love your work.
Grimace, one of the greats, favorite McDonald's character, just behind me, in front of the Hamburglar, if I'm honest. So absolutely love that. And then, Martin and Owies, I think, come in because Martin has been unreal since he came into this team. Adds a lot of that pressure in that forward line, adds some goals. And with Harry out, I think you need another marking target in there, and he offers that plenty. Do I trust that he's fit? No, but I'm going to hope that he is in there. Honey would probably stay in if Martin isn't fit, but for me, I want the best out there. And then, the Always one was the last thing I was looking at, which could have been Dow. But like I said, I think I've got too many mids. And again, with the loss of a Harry Mackay, without a Jack Silvani, my idea is kind of to just get as many different kind of forwards in there, different options, different looks at goal, guys that can play in different styles. And then adding always into that forward line, again, just allows more rotation, more versatility elsewhere where your Cunningham can go into the midfield. Fogarty, hell, if you need Martin in there, you've got these options. So that's why I've kind of gone quite heavy on my small forwards. That's kind of why Dow misses out and becomes the sub, because the sub is always that big talking point for me where I want someone to come in, hit the ground hard. Dow isn't necessarily that, but I think if he did come in as the sub into the midfield, it allows a bit of a clearance specialist late, and then that versatility elsewhere where a Doc can go to wing, Doc can go to halfback, or it can keep Cunningham and the like down forward. So, that's the team. I feel like I've spoken for way too long on that, but there's a lot of ins, a lot of outs. Hit me with some questions so I can shut up.
You remind me of being like, you reminded me of my kid halfway through that, where he's in trouble and he's trying desperately to bail himself out. I was like, you're not in trouble, Ian. I like the team. Cameron asked a question, and I'm going to ask, I'll give Lekdog a sneak preview. I was going to ask this. If Cripper, Chera, and Martin, who are the late fitness tests, albeit the reports are Cripper has trained. Cripper has trained are the reports. Motlop, Martin, and Chera are the wait until tomorrow fitness tests. What would you be doing, Ian?
I think if Martin isn't fit, Honey stays in, which I don't love because I don't think that Honey played a great game, particularly thinking it might have been his last. So I was really hoping for a bit more Honey impact against West Coast.
7 minutes, though.
But wasn't a massive fan, but I think Honey stays in. And then Dow would be my next mid in, whether one of Cripper and Chera gets up. And then if both aren't there, I think that's where maybe an Ed Kerno does find his way into the team, just because you maybe need a bit more of that experience. I'd love a Jack Carroll, but weirdly, I just don't trust him enough if both of those are out. I think maybe you're losing a bit too much. Probably Ed comes in, which I maybe hate saying.
Love it. You're smirking, which means you've got an arsehole question.
No, I was just going to ask you if you knew that Grimace is a taste bud from another planet, and there's a whole race of Grimaces, and they used to have about 8 arms each.
I do not know my Grimace lore clearly as well as you do, but that is one of the greatest. No, I don't know that.
I'm smirking because I've got the exact same team. Spoiler, Pom. I've got the exact same team with a different sub. So
that's huge.
I was smirking because they had just took every single thing I was going to talk about.
Well, I did say I was going to do it in real estate fashion, so I've been the biggest prick. I've spoken for the whole show, and I've stolen what you wanted, so I think I've nailed it, to be honest.
Well, I'll say this, because I've obviously seen both the sides. This is the side I submitted, and Pom's is the first draft I had before making some alterations. So I think we're all in the same ballpark this week.
Are you saying that you've never seen me and Ian and Lekdog in the same room at the same time?
I've never seen it. This could just be 3 cameras from different angles.
If Ian's Grimace, who would me and Lekdog be? Chat, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion between ourselves. Who's the Hamburglar out of you and me? I reckon it's me.
I think you're a bit cheekier. I think you're definitely a bit cheekier. Ronald is Terry, because he's like the ringleader. I'm happy to just be like the kid behind the counter getting $12 an hour or whatever. To be honest with you, I don't need to be a character. Who's
the other one? There was Grimace, Ronald.
There was like a bird thing. There was like a Can I just be one of those mascots from the 2000 Olympics, the echidna or whatever? Because they gave away early the 1999 lead up to the Olympics. There was some elite McDonald's Happy Meal toys.
I'm just on a Google bloody rabbit hole here. Someone needs to be Officer Big Mac. Look that monstrosity up.
Is that the dude with the hamburger head?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's Lekdog.
I'm happy to be Officer Big Mac.
Well, I mean, chat, you've learned something today because I did not know that there was a whole backstory of Grimace. And I know that when I have my bath at the end of this show, I am going to be probably down some YouTube rabbit hole learning about taste buds and Grimace, which is going to scare the shit out of me. Blue Bagger says, Lekdog in Lycra would be a sight to see.
It's not hard to see, honestly, if you just Google my name. There's some messed up stuff I've put on the internet.
If people want to slide into my DMs, I've got some elite pictures of that.
I'm not shy about hiding my body around, to be honest with you. It's pretty easy to find me.
Looks like my night is sorted, to be honest.
Lekdog's in a football chat, and honestly, some of the pictures I've dug up in that football chat of Lekdog. Anything you think? I know.
The more I think about it. Anyway.
My Yorkshire brother, sad as an on-baller, might not happen. Tell you what, the way our midfield's going down, I mean, our midfield is going down quicker than Heather. And that is a very niche reference for those who searched a lot as teenagers. But I'll leave that for you. Okay, here's Pom's team. So I was the only one who got out of the creative flair. I went out. So my outs are Jesse Motlop. He ain't playing. All right? He ain't playing. I ain't risking it. No, what? He's just come back from injury. He's come in. He's got niggled again. Let's not risk it. So he gets the week off. Jesus, obviously, let's rest that knee. I don't care. He's a test. Walsh, put him in Malaga for 2 weeks. We'll bring him back for the GWS game, which we need to win. Ed Kerner, not in. Honey, I can't do it anymore. I would rather have Grimace. And Lewis Young, if I still can't believe paid AFL journalists on 6 figures pandered the idea of playing him full forward. Fuck me. And I'm doing this for free. Let that sink in. So this was my team. I went Lockie Cowan, right? So people are going to look at the back line. Centre half back, Kemp's been flirting playing that position. Cowan was playing the Chincotta role when Chincotta was playing the Boyd role. Mix it up, give Cowan a bit more freedom to intercept the ball. Chincotta's now earned his stripes. He can attack from that back pocket. Newman and Sard in. Wheater in and Kemp there, and I've got Marchbank on the pine. Marchbank's on the pine, so we can still keep that equilibrium. Pom's all about the equilibrium, the same setup. Akers, Cripps, I want Doc in the midfield. He's been playing wing and on the ball. Get him up there. Their wings are dangerous. That's where you're going to see Josh, Nick, and probably side bottom will probably make a miraculous recovery and suddenly be Usain Bolt. Cottrell goes to half forward. That's where we flirted him. Martin, he's playing no matter what. If he doesn't get up for this game, delist the guy. And I love Jack Martin. Charlie Colonel, centre half forward. The surprise. There's only one player in this team who's ever kicked 40 goals who's fit outside of Charlie Colonel. It's time to release the Mitch McGovern. I want the finger pinky Austin Powers celebration. Jesus was doing it remarkably before he went down. It works. It's the only way Charlie Kerner can do it. No TDK full forward. No Mark Pitternet, whatever nonsense that was in the VFL. Go with what we know. Don't try anything because next week is more important than this week. This is just rivalry, but got to win these next couple of games. TDK stays ruckman, third best ruckman in the comp since the bye. Chera Hewitt, that's mwah. Then my Pine, really easy. Hollands, I've got Dow there because obviously I'd imagine Chera and Cripps aren't going to be fully 100%. So the more midfield we could put in to give them added rotations, fuck it, Dow stays. Marchbank comes in, obviously. Pitternet will do what Pitternet did in the VFL. They dumped him full forward, which allows McGovern, if anything happens, to swing back down back. Zach Fisher might be the surprise, but I thought about this, right? Motlop, I don't want to risk him. If you give him 20 minutes to keep his eyes sharp in VFL, fuck it. Jesus Walsh, they're not going to be there. Ed Kerner, I'd rather him go there, put some time into Jack Carroll and give him some support because we may fucking need him in the next 2 weeks. Honey, fuck him off with Grimace. And Young, do whatever you want, but don't play in the seniors until we need a fullback. So, chat, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that's my team.
I love Gov forward. I did this. This was a few years ago now that I did this data, but at that point in time, he was him and Eddie Betts. I did this in 2020 with a 5-year period. Anyway, at the time, him and Eddie Betts were some of the best forwards we'd had in about a decade, and nothing's really changed in that respect except Charlie Kerner and Harry Mackay are now healthy. Gov, what he does do in the forward line, and he does this in the back line as well, and we talk about it a bit, Pom, but I don't think it gets addressed because it's not a stat, and Kemp's actually replicating this as well, is that when they contest and bring the ball to the ground, they bring it to the advantage of either themselves or the teammates. They actually bring the ball. They don't just slap the ball over the top of the head or they don't just go up and not compete. They bring the ball down in front of them. Basic stuff, but Gov and Kemp are great at it. If Gov can do that in the forward line role, I love it with Cunningham, Fogarty, etc. at his feet. I think it's a smart decision. I think it's way smarter than running a Young in there. My only question would be, if that's how we're lining up, is there any reason to even have Pitto in this team? Like, can't we just run TDK in the ruck full time?
I thought about it, but looking at it, I don't want Kerno in the ruck. If Cripps had played last week and had no injury, I wouldn't be against him doing 10, 12 centre bounces, which is what Jesus has done over the last couple of weeks, and we've had that break glass, but we can't afford an injury. I agree with this comment here, what Dom's saying. We can't afford to risk players. He's spot on. Saints, D's, Gold Coast, Giants. We have to win 3 of them 4, so we can't go too blind in this is all or nothing, because if we lose Cripps for the rest of the year, that makes that job hard. So I think Pitternet comes in, and I like what he did in VFL. They just deployed him where I've got McGovern and just left him in the goal square, and he happened to snag a goal, which I don't mind. It's a target. It allows Charlie to work off. So I do think we need someone. I'm happy for TDK to go mano a mano with Darcy around the ground and Pitternet just slot in that forward line. And then McGovern goes back to that Adelaide role of being a little bit loose and trying to bring it to Martin and Cottrell to the ground so they can work it. So I feel we have to bring him in. And it was him or Young. And I thought, well, Pitternet's actually good at his job.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Pitto needs to be in the side. And Marchbank, he's not in my side. I understand the logic, though, if you're swinging Gov or even a Kemp. Not that I would swing a Kemp forward, but they both can play the same roles. Marchbank, as you said, adds the equilibrium. I wouldn't mind seeing them use Cowan a bit more aggressively than they've done, whether that's giving him the freedoms the third or even using him as an outlet a bit more. I'm hoping we just get a glimpse of it this year, because I think long term he's going to be a very good user of the footy in that sense.
Mate, I love it. Ian, hit me.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's definitely... I do enjoy it. I do like it. I like the idea of doing something different in this forward line, and I like Gov. I'd probably have Gov higher than Charlie and keep Charlie deep because he's been so good at it. Kicks 10 last week doing that. And I think that that's potentially the best way to deal with Collingwood. Because I like the idea when you throw Gov, I guess, forward, because he's so good by foot, being the guy that delivers the ball inside 50. And he's got a bit of pace. He likes grabbing the ball below his feet. He's nice and clean there. So I think if I did have Gov in the forward line, I'd maybe try and have him be the guy working up the ground and just stick Charlie deep because you can really rely on him. But I think if you're making that argument, then yeah, Marchbank coming in makes sense. It's looking pretty good. Lekdog sort of took the question there of what you do with Pitnet. Is it too tall? Because I think that's so. I'll try and maybe ask the question in a different way. Is because Collingwood is so good with their pace and spread away. Are you worried at all being a little bit too tall or having too many talls out there and dealing with Collingwood? How's your sort of look on field going to deal with that with the height that's brought in this week?
Well, I feel like I've got the 5 rotations in the small areas: Doc, Sard, Chincotta, Cowan, and Newman. If I want to rotate that, I feel like I've got that option. If they're starting to play that horrible thing they do where Elliott and their smalls push back up the ground, we've got the small guys to deal with it. But if they do what they've been doing the last couple of weeks, deep entries, Marchbank comes in there for Cowan with his superior aerial strength, and we can negate it a bit. And to answer your question about McGovern Kerner, they've started to play Darcy Moore at centre half back a lot more. So I want Charlie going on him and then trying to use that Murphy at fullback in his weak areas where I don't think Murphy is the only 180 plus player who loses height in the air. So I want to see McGovern use his nous and try and get Fogarty and Cunningham involved in the game deeper, and Charlie try and lead Darcy up the ground a bit so we can work in behind him. Because I feel like if we can get Darcy fullback, we can really screw them. And I think McGovern is crafty, but I agree with you. Maybe swap them around. I would be rotating them, but I feel like we've got a lot of options there, and that's why I've got fish on the pine. If Carlton get that 20-30 jump, which I think we need by half-time, take a tall out, go Fisher and go, right, let's try and spread them and force them to come at us, and we fight fire with fire. But I feel that's the only way we win. We've got to go fire with fire.
Yeah, and honestly, like, more I'm trying to think about Gov and think about our forward line. You sort of bring it up there. It's probably the biggest thing that we need to stop as well in this game is Darcy Moore's impact. We saw how much we allowed him to dominate last time we played Collingwood, and Gov now learning the craft of a defender, having him now in that forward line, knowing a bit more of the tricks of the trade of what a good intercept defender does, that might maybe even that up a little bit because he knows how to play that and can maybe try to stop Darcy Moore's tactics. So it's not a bad option to have down there. And I do like us trying something different. I've gone boring. I've gone simple. So I like when someone else does something different.
Mate, spot on. And what you were saying about learning the tricks of the trade, one of the great things we've seen from McGovern last week is them little checking the runs of the forwards to let Kemp get in front. If he can do that on Darcy as well, just check that run and give Kerner that half a step advantage. Do you know what I mean? All we've got to do is get Darcy Moore defending. If he's got that confidence, and it's basically the Ilya job. Yeah. We gave him defensive responsibility. Ilya fucked off and became a defender and was bad at it. That's what we need Darcy to be doing. We need Darcy to think, fuck, I've got to defend. I can't peel off and take that intercept grab. So that was my thinking. And I just figured McGovern's a forward for 6 years of his life. He'll still remember how to do it.
100%.
Take Mark kick goal. I agree, by the way, with who is it? Jake Pike in chat. Pressure's off Friday night. It's a free hit. If they play, if they have the last 6, they're a chance. But great. It's a free hit. It's a free hit. We got obviously you want to win, but they can have a real crack this weekend.
We're winning. Don't matter. I was going to put Lekdog, Ian, Pom as my fullback line. That's how confident I am.
It is going to rain on Friday. I don't know how much. There will be showers. I've looked up the bomb just to confirm. So
I'm a Pom. I don't want to hear about rain.
My team, Pom, is the same as Ian's, except I don't believe in Patty Dow, so I put Lewis Young in instead. So I don't know if we really need to spend too much time on it. Cowan's there to rotate as that, as we talked about that in that Chincotta role. Hewitt's there to rotate. He replaces, Dow or Walsh or however you want to put it, but he stays in those mid-rotation. Cottrell can sort of spend time on the wing and up forward, and then I've brought Owies in, knowing that Motlop might not get up, but I think if Owies is fit, which I'm hoping he is, he's the logical inclusion there. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward, this one. I dropped all the guys that are injured or I don't like, and I put in all the guys that I do like. So...
Well, I mean, I do notice that you've gone with Young as the sub. Now, is that for like a protection policy of Pitternet? Because Pitternet only played the 3 quarters in VFL. That's
TDK was injured recently. Pitto's not fully fit. McGovern's been getting knocked. That's purely, and it's also there if you need to pull a lever. I feel like Young gives you more flexibility in that. If a forward goes down, as you've spoken about, you can move a Gov or a Kemp or whatever forward. You can put Young in defense. If TDK or Pitto goes down, you can bring Young on and play him as the ruck and move like a TDK forward. So I just think, given the flexibility for us comes from tall players rather than small players, having a tall on the sub makes sense to me. Of course, if he can't replace Cripps if Cripps gets injured. Yeah, I just think he offers a blanket of security. Like, he's not very good at most things, but he'll allow the good players to move around.
Kind of like a conductor. I like it.
Yeah,
Ian,
exactly.
Very similar team to yours. Have you got any questions that you think Mr. Lekdog missed?
Yeah, it's hard to ask too many questions when they're almost identical. And my one would have been the rationale for Young, because I know it was something I was looking at, but the answer he gave really, it's similar to the one I probably gave for Paddy Dow, where it's less he comes on and he's the difference maker. It's more he comes in and that allows other moves. And you talk about what Pommy was talking about there with moving Gov forward. If we're struggling in that capacity, I guess, Young can come in, move down back, allow for that lever to be pulled. And it's hard for me to not like this team. So I guess I'll ask a similar question potentially that I asked with Pommy. What's your tactic for dealing with Darcy Moore? Because that's kind of the thing
Stop kicking it to him.
Is that basically because, obviously you brought in, I guess, like an Owies and a Martin. So are you hoping that having these dynamic forwards allows a bit more spread like we've seen? What's the tactic?
Well, look, the spread we've seen, as we spoke about on the Navy Blue Corner earlier this week, which you should go and all listen to, I think it's generated from the way we move the ball out of defense. It's allowed everyone to be much, much freer. We've kept our width on the wing, but we've also looked to go inboard. So I actually think the options we've had and the freedom we've had in the forward line has been caused a lot through how we transition the ball starting in defense. So I don't actually think bringing an Owies or a Martin in affects that. It helps that they can contest in the air, both of those guys. But I just think the way we're moving the ball, like, we're essentially half a kick ahead of where we were last time we played Collingwood in terms of how we're entering 50. So instead of kicking really high Ed Kerno moon balls into the forward 50 that sort of float into that 45 to 40 meter area, we're moving the ball with a bit of pace and a bit of, lowering the eyes, and we're actually kicking towards dangerous areas or hitting targets. So again, I'd be isolating Charlie as much as possible. You isolate Charlie, they're going to have to send more to him. If they don't, Charlie's going to kick a bag. And in terms of the handoff, it's just about being a bit more sensible, as we have been the last 5 weeks with how we enter 50. So the same way with it, like Alira killed us for 5 years, and then 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, we just stopped kicking it to him, and it's like, we can do this. So do that.
Yeah. I agree with James as well. It's important to note that I think all 3 sides we selected, there's still a lot of weapons there. And I think you've touched on something there, Lekdog, that no one's really talking about. We've had mass changes from Gold Coast to now, and it still looks sexy because it's very simplistic. It's very low maintenance skill-wise, high maintenance output-wise. And the players that are coming in and the players that are leaving are all decent runners now. Do you know what I mean? Like the big change. Luckily, the big changes this week. Jesus isn't an elite runner. Walsh is, but Chera comes in. And people forget there was only 2 seconds between Chera and Walsh in the preseason time trial. So that's not nothing whatsoever. So that even them outs to ins, effectively, it's like for like from what you've had the last 6 weeks, maybe just different skill sets. But the core fundamental is that two-way running in them key areas. And they still exist, even with the outs. Obviously, Walsh there instead of, say, I don't know, he's more elite running power. But in reality, it's not a massive change from the last 6 weeks at all.
I agree. And just when I was going to answer Lockie Jack. He said, what do you do if Martin and Ois don't play? Motlop, you can fall into that as well. I mean, yeah, it has to be an Ed Kerno, probably. It has to be a Fisher, maybe even a Honey. Or you move Cottrell to a permanent forward role and you look at, I'm going to get smashed here, but like a Lockie O'Brien or a Jackson Binns to come in and be the rotation on the wing where Cottrell plays forward permanently. So we do have some options because agree, I think we're more than the sum of our parts at the moment because the game plan is as simple as it is functioning and working.
And here you are, chat. You asked for it. This is what I like to call the Ethan K. Lockie Jack roll. And Blue Baggers, we will smash the pies. 50 points. Again, it'll be 6 in a row. You know what I mean?
Record breaking.
Hey, do you know what I mean? It'll be nudes for days. But chat, I'm going to trust you. Right? You wanted a wild card. So these are the 9 players on your screen that us 3 did not select. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think. You can either have Jackson Binns, Ed Kerno, Tomaku. Just remind you, Jackson Binns, Sam Durden, Hudson O'Keefe, Josh Honey, Harry Lemmy, Lockie Plowman, Jack Carroll, and I also forgot Lockie O'Brien. You can have Lockie O'Brien as well. Quick addition, Lockie O'Brien. So one name.
Mega wild card.
One name, and I'll do it. I'll let you put him in. I'll let you put him into the selection. So we've got Binns from Blue Bag. Blue Bag, you might be new round here when you said surely Binns. You'd think. You'd think 2 for Plowman, 3 for Binns, 4 for Binns, 5 for Binns. What did I say, Ian? The chat is educated.
There's some Plow coming in late. Some Plow coming in late. They want him. I spoke off the live that maybe he can play Plowman as the tall forward. I think the comments are listening.
Fuck's sake.
It is just
what
the
have I
same
started?
guy saying Plowman.
It looks like Binns has got it, to be fair. Says Cameron's the only one who's right.
But I don't mind it. I don't mind. I like the wild card. So does he? Are we just starting him as on the interchange? Is that how this works, or does he start on the field? What happens?
He's literally going to be. He's going to be in the rotation in our selection pool. So.
Oh, okay. Yep. So we didn't name him, but the chat's named him, so he goes into selection if they want to select him. Understand?
Well, I mean, looking at individuals, because Harry, Ethan, and Lockie Jack have absolutely
spammed Plowman.
I would say, honestly, if you go through it by my count, Binns has won it by 2. Jess Coates,
yeah, Binns is ahead. If we're talking like qualitative data rather than quantitative data, Binns is ahead.
Okay, so you know what? Binns is added. Binns is added, chat. Huge. I will add him for you now, and we will select our team. But because we've got one less, we will do it a little bit differently, and we will select one each, and we will give you the power to select 3.
Oh, big chat impact. Not only they get the wild card, they get to pick half the team this week.
And you know what? Because I'm a man of culture, Plowman has been added. I've done 2.
Hey.
There you are. Look, because I'm nice. So, Ian, we'll start with you. Who is the first name you're saving in the back line?
I will save Chin Cotter because I think he has really, really stepped up in the last couple of weeks, and I love his drive and energy off that halfback.
Sometimes I just think maybe it's not the chat I need to worry about. Maybe it's my co-hosts. So, Lekdog, Chin Cotter's gone.
Oh, damn. I save the same name every week, so I'm going to save Brody Kemp this week. Letting a little bit of chaos reign here.
Well, I mean, at least we've got 2 good backmen. Like, a worst-case scenario, my brain is just saying, at least we've got 2 good backmen, right? So, worst-case scenario, it is.
Lucky Jackie's begging.
Who is scaring me the most? That needs... Well, I've got to cover the team. Wheatery, it's got to be saved because I know Plowman's going to get voted in. I've got no doubt. So, chat, you all get to choose 3 names. So, Chinkotter's gone, Wheatering's gone because we do actually need a backman as opposed to banter. We've got Wheatering, we've got Chincotter, and we've got Kempy. He is gone. So, chat, to play in the back line, you've got 3. We've got Markymark is leading the way at the moment, but we've got a host of players.
Newman, Sard, plenty in there. Cowan as well.
Mate, Pom, what have you done?
Sard, Marchbank, Newman.
It's like the one position we've got depth in and have all of the players available.
Well, I can tell you Sard is definitely locked away because everyone who hasn't voted Plowman has saved Sard and has saved
Newman's
Newman.
In there a few times.
And Newman. Gov, Marchbank, Gov. Lekdog, who do you think's the 6th position? Marchbank's been there a few times.
Are we ignoring all the Plowman votes?
No. It has Plowman been saved, but it's definitely Newman and Sard. I think we can all agree on that.
Definitely Newman and Sard. Marchbank's coming through a lot as well. People have forgotten about McGovern.
Okay, I'll leave it up to you. Sard, Newman. Who's the last one, Lekdog?
I'm trying to filter through just Lockie Jack yelling at me.
I feel like Marchie's got a lot, to be honest.
March 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Marchbank's here 5 times. Plow's here 4 times, but Lockie Jack said he Plowman about 100 times.
Are you saying Marchbank?
Yeah, SARS has pushed Marchbank over the edge.
Okay, so Plowman remains though. The dream's still there. You have got a bench, remember.
I'd love to ask a question as well, because it looks like the chat is agreeing, and I've seen a lot on social media. What are your thoughts on, it looks like a lot of people making that change, Marchbank in, Cowan out. I know neither of us made that change. Pommy obviously does bring in Marchbank. What's your thought on that discussion this week? Because I have seen it a lot, and I'd love to get your thoughts.
I think they play different roles. So I think Cowan's can be more versatile. But if you're sending Gov or a Kemp or whatever forward, then Marchbank makes sense to me.
Yeah, my only issue with it is people are forgetting that Cowan played the Chincotter role and people were complaining Chincotter found no ball. Marchbank playing that role is going to find no ball, and it's literally to feed off scraps on the ground. So the way I selected the team was to take Marchbank's strength, exactly like David Redbear's nailed it, his intercept game, and have Cowan there as almost the backup for Marchbank should he go down. Heaven forbid, but you've got McGovern and Marchbank there. So it gives you that little backup there as well, I think. And people forget Doc has spent a lot of time half forward as well this year. So I figured it just gives that extra rotation. That was what I was thinking with my team. So
yeah,
I was just trying to rotate our way through this week, to be honest.
So where are we at? We picking the centre line now?
We're at midfield, and we'll start with Ian.
I'm going to save Blake Acres on the wing.
I am going to, as we just discussed, I'm going to put Sam Doherty on the ball, please.
Sam Doherty.
God, he's been good. I love him so much. Got one of his Guernseys from his debut year. I still haven't framed it. It's embarrassing. It's been 10 years.
Who do you save? Cripps. Smart. I need my caps in. So, chat, midfielders, you got a good selection. Binns, Kerner, Chera, Cottrell, Cowan, Cunningham, Dow, Fisher, Fogarty, Hewitt, Hollins, Martin, McGovern, Motlop, Owies, Pitternet, Plowman, TDK, and Young. We do need a ruck, and we have got 3 rucks.
Chera. Plough as a mid. Hawks should chase Jake Riccardi and Ben Mackay. You're in the wrong stream, Ken.
I agree.
Fog. Yeah, they should. But take it somewhere else. TDK,
like Chera, Cottrell, and Hewitt are locks.
Chera, Cottrell, Hewitt. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, but we need a ruckman, don't we?
So one of those is going to miss. One of those might be a lock for the bench early.
TDK Chera, definitely. I reckon Cotters has just squeezed ahead of Hewitt and Hollins.
So we got Akers, Cripps, TDK, Doc, Hewitt, and who else? Chera.
And Cotters, unless that's one too many.
There we are.
Yeah, it looked like Cotters on the wing over Hewitt being saved, I think.
So we got Chera's gone. Hewitt's gone. Was it Hewitt? Yeah.
Don't know. At this point, I'm completely lost. All the Plough chats ruined me.
TDK. Akers is gone. Chera's gone. Cripps is gone. TDK, Doc, and Hewitt. Okay, so forward line. Ian, who we saving?
I will save Cunningham, please.
Cunningham. Are you going to play him at half forward?
A half forward, yes, of course.
All right.
Bit of mid-rotation in him.
It's the Lek.
It's the Lekdog. I'm picking Charlie Kerner. I'm taking that away from you, Pom.
And
I've given you absolute opportunity here, Pom, to do your thing.
McGovern full forward. Right, so we've gone McGovern forward. You've taken Charlie Kerner off me. All right, chat. You have got Binns, Cottrell, Cowan, Dow, Fisher, Fogarty, Hollins, Martin, Motlop, Owies, Pitternet, Plowman, Young.
Let us know.
Throw in your things. Gary Brown would be very proud of Ian.
Big salute.
Cotters says Sandra. Fog Cotters. Plowman says Odin. Plowman says Lockie Jack. Plowman says Ethan K. Martin Fogarty. I think I've seen 3 Fogs.
Cottrell again.
4 Fogs. 3 Cottrells.
It looks like Martin and Fog.
Martin and Fog are in. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Lockie Jack, I'm just going to remind you that it's a qualitative survey, not a quantitative one.
Cottrell did get a lot of votes for that midfield as well, if you need to factor those in as well.
I reckon it's Fogarty, McGovern, Cottrell, and who was the last one? Martin.
Gavin says, would love to see more interceptor McGovern knee to the back. That's beautiful.
Okay, chat. We've lost Fogarty, we've lost Cottrell, and we've lost Martin. So, bench.
So is there one more left? Bench.
So far the team is Kemp, Wheater, Inching-Cotter, Sard, Marchbank, Newman, Akers, Cripps, Chera, Cunningham, Kerner, Cottrell, Fogg, McGovern, Martin, TDK, Doc, and Hewitt. So we are on the bench. And I reckon we're going to see Plowman on this interchange bench. Just FYI.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'll try and my hardest to stop that because I do think we need a defender, an extra one. But I think I want a bit more pace. I would have said Mullet, but it's no longer there. But we'll go Lockie Cowan, please. Save him.
What? You would have said Aaron Mullet?
yes. Cam O'Shea, number
greats.
1, and then Mullet, number 2, please.
Cowan's gone. Mr. Lekdog, who are you throwing in? We've got Finsdale, Fisher, Hollands, Motlop, Owens, Pitternet, Plough, and Young.
My gut said, well, my brain said pick a ruckman, another ruckman, but there's something. I'm starting to warm up to TDK. I'm not going to pick Plowman, I'll tell you that much.
I thought you were building it up here.
No. I'm trying to work out if we need another wing rotation or if we need another forward rotation. What do you guys think?
I'd say both, if I can.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've got Cottrell in the team, so let's assume he's the both. Which so basically, I'm asking myself.
I'd say Plowman. He can play on the wing, full forward.
Just for your record, I'm trying to decide between Hollands and Owies. Just FYI. So, I am going to say Ollie Hollands.
Yeah, love.
He's taking my boys tonight. So we've got Hollands. Right, who do I save?
Wait, there's I think I know who at least the sub's gonna be.
Hollands, what have we got? I don't think Motlop will play, and I don't want him to play. I want him to have a week. Always, basically, I'm not sure. I don't think he's seen grass for 8 years.
It's tough,
we need
man.
A rock there.
I kind of feel like we can higgle something together with TDK as the number 1 ruck, but I don't know. It's tough there. Don't pick Lewis Young, please. Because these were all end of bench for us, all of these guys. Yeah, basically.
I'm bringing him back. I'm saving him. Chat, I'm giving you the hard decision. I'm saving Dow.
Oof.
Oh,
it's going hot.
Gee whiz. That's not what I expected.
That's not what I expected at all.
So, chat, you've got 2 to save, right? 1 will be your sub, 1 will be on your bench. Binns, Fisher, Motlop, Owies, Pitternet, Plowman, and McGovern. What I'll do is, as a request in chat, give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, as they say.
Chat, if you're going to vote in Plowman, can you at least put him as a sub? Pom's got to post this.
Even when we get it right, they complain, Lekdog. The people of Twitter.
Fisher, Pitternet, Plough, Owies.
Even currently
Plowman.
between Owies, Plough, and Pitt.
Indiana Murphy wants Plowman and Young, which... Owies, Pitto, Owies.
I think Owies is leading these.
Who do you reckon it is?
This is tough. I legitimately think that Plowman has the most votes, by the way. Not just in Lockie Jack.
Okay.
I refuse to put him in the 22 though. He's sub at best. Sub for a bit of a troll. I'm trying to count here. Owies and Pitto are basically neck and neck for this last spot. I reckon it's got to be like next couple of votes.
Okay, so we've got Binns, Fisher, Motlop, Owens, Pitternet, Plowman, Young. I'll put them up across the screen.
It's up to you here, community. Bench Pitto. Hyde says Pitto. I reckon that might be the tiebreaker. Gavin says Owens. Darren says Owens. See, that's tough. I think it's literally 50-50.
What, is it Plowman as sub or Owens as sub?
I think Plowman's sub. I think the people have spoken.
Okay, Plowman is in. I was wrong.
Mayhem.
When I said chat won't let us down.
Owens, yeah, I think.
Owens
By the
is
way,
maybe.
I think Owens is won it, which means
Moe's.
we're going TDK ruck, and you're going to have to explain to everyone on Twitter who the backup ruckman is. I mean, that's the fun of the show, isn't it? That we let them
100%.
hijack it and ruin the team.
I don't think they ruined the team. They've had some fun.
TDK,
As Pommy said, doesn't matter who rolls out this week. We're beating the Pies by 50, so who cares? You know, who
To be
cares
fair-
if Plowman starts full forward? He's going to kick 4 and we'll win.
To be fair, even if Plowman played, we still win. I mean, it's just more embarrassing for Pies chat.
I mean, Pies have basically only been playing one ruckman or one player's ruckman. Mason Cox took some ball ups, but it was mostly Darcy Cameron in the ruck last week. So against Port, who have a couple of players that pinch hit there. So we just need to amalgamate someone to take the hit outs against Mason Cox, basically. Who's going to do it?
There we are, chat. This is what we've got. We have got, it's happened. Plowman is now in the team, but we've got Ken Wheater in Chincotta, Sard, Marchbank, Newman, Akers, Cripps, Chera, Cunningham, Kerno, Cottrell, Fogarty, McGovern, Martin, TDK, Doc, Hewitt, Cowan, Hollands, Dow, Owens. Sub is Lachlan Plowman.
I think this might be the first one we've got the mix slightly wrong, community. Like, I know we're always right. I feel like maybe we've got one too many mids and maybe one too many Plowmans.
Well, I mean, the ruck's going to be interesting, isn't it? I mean, it looks like Marchbank's going to have to go in the ruck as the second
may as well give him something to do.
Do you know what I mean? I'd feel a little bit better if that Plowman was pitting at, to be honest. But
yeah, well, he's for forward rotation. That makes sense to me. Hollands rotate through the wing. That makes sense to me. Dow, I guess. My only issue with Dow is that with Chera on the wing already, we've probably got maybe one too many midfielders. Cowan rotating through defense. All of that bit makes sense to me. The backup ruck and having Lockie Plowman's name on there. And I, for years, defended Lockie Plowman. For years. And you all hated me for it. And now that he's out, all of a sudden everyone loves him.
Oh, mate. Lockie and I were almost number one bloody fans of Plowman for a long time, copping a lot of stick as well. So I'll happily put my hand up. Navy Blue Corner was very pro Plowman back in the day.
I will just throw it out there. Pom has always been out anti-Plowman. And will be till the day he dies. And I can't believe I've got to put my name to this team sheet.
You know who would have a red hot crack if you just said, "Hey, you're the backup ruckman today"? Like, he'd get killed. But Matty Cottrell, if you tell him you're going up against Mason Cox today, just run into him. I think he would run headfirst through him.
I was about to say, just pure vibes and just energy is Matty Cottrell in the ruck. Like, we've made Jack Silvani. No one would have thought about it a few years ago, throwing Jack in there. He's the next prototype. Just absolute mayhem in the ruck department. That's what I want.
Mate, I mean, to be honest, TDK did what, 88% against?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
it'd be him and Darcy Cameron 90% of the game. It's just who does the Mason Cox 10%.
Do you know what I mean? And yeah, there it is. The wild card did its thing. There it is. But thank you very much, chat. We've had fun. Never did I think I'd see Plowman in the team, but there we are. Plowman is in the team. You've got your wish. As always, Ian, where will we find you this week? Where will you be? What are you up to? Talk to us. Tell us what you're up to.
We'll be doing a bit of a match build-up. We'll be out Friday morning because I want to react to the teams that do come out. So if you need something to listen to on your way to the game this Friday, find it Navy Blue Corner on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And then, of course, back with a review on the Tuesday morning. Don't know who my guest will be just yet because my tag team partner, Lockie, is over in Europe enjoying the sun, but I'm sure I'll get someone locked into that role. But yes, Navy Blue Corner is the place to be. Pommy trying to put it up here. Look at this.
Pick me. You've picked these other hacks. All right. Look, give me. We'll do a Plowman loving. Mr. Lekdog, where will we see you this week?
Well, please go and listen to my latest Supercoach podcast. Got the great Tim Mitchell from Supercoach, or the Herald Sun, to come on that one. Good friends with him. And I'll be with you tomorrow night, Pom, reviewing Carlton's actual team and probably losing my goddamn mind if it's the same as this one.
You know what? I'd love it if Ethan and Lockie had infiltrated Carlton's actual selection table. It's Lockie Plowman's there. Mate, I look forward to it as always. I have other things to do this week. I can't remember what. Oh, yeah, I've got a little bit of a pump-up video coming for the Collingwood game. That'll be on Friday. Review is up. Go and check that out. But as always, I love you all, and I can't wait to see you this next week. See you all next week.
Go Baggers.